Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to talk about the angel's trumpet, and we've done this before. We've showed propagation techniques. We've looked at the angel's trumpet, and we're all lovers of the angel's trumpet. But today I'd like to look at the overwinter procedure that you have to follow if you would like to preserve your plant from this season into springs. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Alice and I'm the Red Soil Gardener. As I said earlier, I'd like to do an overwinter preparation so that everybody knows how to handle our dear little angel's trumpet. Now this angel's trumpet, I had it in a plastic container and I had decided that I will plant it. But my only thing is that I have so many angel's trumpets in the garden because I just love the smell. I've got yellow ones, I've got peach ones, I've got white ones, and I don't know what color this is. But I thought, let me just use it so we can go through the overwinter preparation so that you're aware what to do this fall and winter. Some of you may have angel's trumpets sort of in your garden, dug in the soil, and if you're living in a fairly warmer climate, I would actually just leave it there. However, if you're living in areas that you do have freezing temperatures and the temperature in winter really drops, I would actually recommend to take your angel's trumpet and start your overwinter preparation. Now, some of you may have angel's trumpets but potted, which is not a bad idea because all you need to do is either bring it into the house over winter, or else you prune it and do take it into overwinter storage in your basement or in your garage. And for as long as the temperature is about 5 to 10 degrees, you should be okay. And by the time the spring comes, you start getting your new buds, and your angel's trumpet, which we know is very fast growing, will kick into action and you will have your tree. So the first thing you need to do, as I've done here, is uproot it. If it's in the soil and you need to store it in a dark, cooler environment, basement, garage, do uproot it. So what I've done is I've actually uprooted this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pot it. And let's assume that winter is coming, and then I'll show you what to do. So the first thing I did is actually where this plant was for the last 2 days, I've actually drenched it in water, because basically when you do take it into overwinter storage, the plant has to not get any water because it's going dormant, or you're forcing a dormant situation on the plant. Now the next thing what I did after I uprooted it is I looked at my roots, and I think they need to have a bit of a trim. So basically, let me show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this, my scissors, of course sterilized, because also remember, as you take it into an overwinter storage, you cannot afford to have any fungal diseases or any other pests actually on the plant, because its defenses are not there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip some of this because it's easier for it to get into the pot. So what I'm going to do is just leave it here and get my gloves on. And also do remember that our dear angel's trumpet is quite poisonous, so it's always best to have your gloves on. Now what I'm going to do is actually put it, now that I have my trimmed roots, I'm going to put it in here. So I'm going to just dig a bit deeper in here. And I will take it and place it. And then I'm going to pour some more soil on top of it. So here we have our angel's trumpet repotted, and I'm going to just water it lightly, because let's assume that you haven't had the first frost. So you keep it a bit moist and then wait a bit and let it dry out, and then you put it in your storage. So I need to move this here, and then we move to the next stage. So let's move the plant here. So now what happens is, now that we've moved it, is we need to prune it so that, first of all, we have foliage, and as we know that once it does go into overwinter, is all this foliage is going to drop off. One thing we did talk about in our Angel's Trumpet or Brugmansia's video is that basically when the plant wants to start producing flowers, it does a fork. So we do have a fork here, and if I had left it longer, this would have actually had its flowers. But because it's going into a state of dormancy and we don't need it, I'm going to just snip here, but still keep the V. Now, another part I'm going to cut is maybe up here. So I'm going to remove it. Now you see, the thing is that I know these are a bit wonky, but if you did have a straight stems going outward, I would actually even had gone further, and then the plants, the stem that I wouldn't use, which basically would be something you throw away, I would actually use that for propagation purposes. Do a water propagation or do a soil propagation, keep it in your kitchen somewhere warm, and that means you will be multiplying this plant at the same time looking after it over winter. So I'm going to leave that like this. But if I look at this section here, it looks like it's quite weak. I mean, poor thing, but it looks quite weak. So what I'm going to do is actually go down a bit, and I'm going to cut here. So that's perfect. So this is what I will put in now in my basement or my garage, which should be frost-free and it should be dark, because what we're doing is sending this plant into dormancy. If it does start growing its leaves, it will eventually sort of give it up, because basically once we do put it in storage, it should be dry. There's no water being given to the plant for a few months as it is in winter. So what will happen is that it's just the roots that are looking after the plant. And then once spring comes, I will take the plant outside in direct light and slowly introduce it into the garden, and then wait for it to pick up. And again, as I always emphasize, do be careful when you do bring your plants out, because sometimes you do get that sort of shocking freeze that comes in the middle of spring, and you could damage your plant. So always make sure that you're looking at the weather reports, and if there's a freeze, bring it back into the garage or into the basement or into your house, so that you avoid it from getting damaged. So one thing I must say as I remove my gloves is, do go into your storage place and do keep checking on the plant. The soil should be dry, no water during this period, because basically the roots are looking after the plant. You may get a bit of shriveling, or you may get some bit of dead wood. All you do is just snip it off. But once it does go into this dormant stage, no water, let it remain in the dark, and just keep checking on it in case there could be mold, there could be root rot or something. Just keep an eye on it, but I think your Angel's Trumpet will be fine. So don't forget to like and share, and don't forget to press the notification button to be notified every time we upload on Tuesday. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We're always there posting new postings. Do send me comments. I always enjoy it. good luck with overwinter preparations and good luck with your storage, and we wait for spring when your angel's trumpet will be in full glory. So have a lovely, lovely day and look after your plants over winter.